Good morning and welcome. Developing stories. Mixed reactions have followed federal government's decision to block some social media accounts for posting content it feels are offensive and violating Nigeria's code of practice. While not entirely opposed to the move, some analysts believe that oversight should be handled by independent organizations to ensure fairness and impartiality. Omori Olambeji reports.
Recently, the National Information Technology Development Agency shut down 13,597,057 social media accounts across platforms such as TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly Twitter, citing violations of Nigeria's Code of Practice for online platforms. The enforcement followed the submission of the 2024 compliance report by major service providers including Google, Microsoft, and TikTok. Nigeria's Code of Practice for online platforms, issued by NITDA, provides a regulatory framework that guides online platforms in operating responsibly and in accordance with Nigerian laws. But the question remains, are harmful and misleading content truly widespread on Nigerian social media?
Have I encountered any form of distasteful post on social media before? Yes, I have. And do I feel this might have impact on expression of people's freedom of expression? Yes, I believe so.
We have discovered in recent time some offensive posts were being made, and these have been the social media handle have been, and if you just notice recently, you discover that so many, virtually everybody on the online now is a journalist.
Journalist and public affairs analyst Nuruddin Olayinka supports the regulation of content, but expresses concern over government policies he described as often one-sided.
Not a few will forget about when the law that were promulgated by the military government of Buhari on social media, that should be handled by government. I don't think so, because most times they under wanting to protect national security or national interest to post
litigation. If they think they are
and asked whether this expression, NITDA has said it remains committed to work with safety.
Markets, since he assumed of describing it as a reflection of investors' confidence in his administration's bold reforms and economic measures, he affirmed his administration's commitment to further the markets and set leadership for their commitment, stressing that with capital market stakeholders is vital to achieving the whole agenda's economic targets and positioning. The international structural reforms required to make Nigeria a more attractive investment destination. IMF and IFC noted that declaration of inflationary measure, foreign exchange, market stability, and growing foreign reserves. Those views were expressed by the IMF representative Christian Ibeke and principal country officer IFC Nigeria Christian Mula during the International Business Conference and Expo 2025 in Lagos. President Tinubu, who was represented at the Expo meeting by Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, Senator Eno, said the government is speaking with automobile industry players to see how to put things in place that could make it attractive for these auto firms to come and set up plants in Nigeria. The Nigerian Railway Corporation NRC says 18 persons have been evacuated from the derailed Abuja-Kaduna train service. The managing director for NRC, Kayode Okwefa, who gave the figure in a statement in Lagos, said the remaining passengers were conveyed safely back to Idu and Kubwa stations aboard a rescue train dispatched from Idu for the purpose. Mr. Okwefa stated that in line with the NRC's commitment to passenger welfare, its third-party ticketing company had been directed to immediately issue refunds to all passengers on board the affected affected train. Meanwhile, all Abuja-Kaduna train services have been temporarily suspended pending recovery of the site for an official announcement of service resumption. Nigeria's crude oil exports to Asia may face increased competition following South Korea's $100 billion commitment to purchase U.S. energy over the next 4 years. A deal sealed President Lee Jae-myung's state visit to Washington. South Korea is already the largest Asian buyer of U.S. crude with import currently at 460,000 to 470,000 barrels per day, a pace that translates to about $12 to $14 billion annually. For Nigeria, which counts South Korea as one of its key Asian crude buyers alongside India and Indonesia, this trend raises concern about market share. Nigerian grades, especially light sweet crude such as Aqua Ibom and Boni Light, have historically found steady demand in South Korea due to their low sulfur content and suitability for its refineries. However, as U.S. cargoes flood the Asian markets, Nigeria exports risk being squeezed out or discounted further. These changes highlight sales strategy of balancing energy security with competitive pricing and short-haul imports, a strategy that could work against African suppliers like Nigeria, where freight costs are higher compared to U.S. cargoes. Nigeria's Africa's top oil producer has faced persistent output shortfalls in recent years, often falling below its OPEC quota, although official figures suggest production has recovered to around 1.5 million barrels per day. And that's developing stories. Thank you so much for watching. Good morning.